This topic about David Njoku is brought to us by FanDuel. You guys know FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook, and right now, FanDuel's offering a little something different for you guys. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with the YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime you want. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to get in on and be part of America's #1 sportsbook. David Njoku out for the foreseeable future, 3 to 6 weeks projected.
They're not putting him on IR as of now, right?
Not putting him on the IR. Today, the Browns hosted several tight ends for workouts, including Irv Smith, Tommy Sweeney, and Jeff Swain. Jordan Akins, the only active tight end on the roster. Guys, how will the Browns, what do they need to do to sustain the loss of Njoku for the next month, let's just call it, without their top tight end in the lineup?
By the way, I've heard of 2 of the 3 guys. Irv Smith Jr.'s bounced around. He was a good talent coming out of college.
He was with Minnesota.
He was on the Minnesota. He was with the Bengals last year. Didn't do much. So he's played in the division at least. Jeff Swain, I think, used to be with Dallas. He's been, but none of those
They're
guys.
all journeymen, which is fine.
This is a pretty significant loss.
I was going to say, this is a very significant loss when you consider that the offense doesn't have Nick Chubb right now. So we're talking about losing a strength of the offense right now, and the offense, you saw how it was on Sunday, was not great to begin with.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden now, the onus goes way higher on Amari Cooper, on Elijah Moore, and certainly on Jerry Jeudy as well. So those 3 guys got to step up. Jerome Ford, you're going to have to carry a huge load.
They got to use Deontay Foreman some.
Absolutely.
Get him in the mix.
So, this is your intermediate passing game will be challenged dramatically without having David Njoku.
I mean, you went from a guy who arguably is a top 10 tight end, right? You know, somewhere in that 6 to 10 range, to having maybe the worst tight end situation in the NFL right now.
To tight ends that
most
people have not heard of.
Right.
I mean, the good news.
That's bad.
The only good news is that Deshaun and Jordan Akins got history from Houston together. Outside of that, he's not.
No.
He's not a guy that I'm thinking is an X factor. Like, David Njoku was an X factor. He get hot, like it's hard to stop him.
Right. Nobody's worried about Jordan
People got to
Akins.
switch their game plan and stuff like that to try to stop him, but. This is it's not great.
No, it ain't great. He's a good blocker. They were using him on some check release stuff with the tackles, giving him a little bit of extra help, releasing it into the routes. Man, let me tell you something, man. Y'all receivers going to have to do something. I'm going to keep it real. Hey, Jerry Jeudy, Amari Cooper, I don't know if you pouting.
And he was fired up to have that touchdown down 17, wasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. He was like, oh, listen, I'm in the end zone.
I'm not going to kill him because he hadn't been in the end zone in a minute.
Weeks. Listen, I'll be doing all my dances. Like, Amari Cooper, listen, I know you may be a little salty. They mentioned Brandon Ayuk's name. I get it. You didn't get the bag that you wanted. But I need y'all to step up. I need y'all to be open. I need you to be more vocal.
It just got harder for him.
I know it is.
Because we got to worry about the joke. Slide everything to number 2.
These dudes are going to – and the game plan is this. This second week coming into it, you said it, Jerome Ford. Cleveland Browns have to be consistently married to the idea that you're going to run the ball. Not half commit to it, not be like, oh, well, we ran it 3 times, but we got down, so we had to throw the ball. No, you got down because you didn't run the ball to start with. They're going to have to do some stuff to get some yardage where it's not 1st and 20, Dustin.
Yeah.
You can't – this team is not a 1st and 20 team.
No team.
Maybe the Chiefs.
Maybe the Chiefs.
But this Deontay Foreman has to touch the ball a little more, and it should be even a more run-centric offense because you don't have one. I would say he's the top 3 pass catcher for him. In David Njoku, you don't have him. So you're going to have to run the ball a little more and be a little creative.
Jerome Ford, though, is listen, he's not as bad as I think we made it seem, and he didn't have a good first game. But he's a guy who's he's kind of dancing a lot in the backfield. Whereas Deontay Foreman is more of a straight-ahead runner. Like, he's not dancing in the backfield. He's
Yeah, we're also spoiled to have Nick Chubb every single
Right.
week. So when you
Everybody
see a guy,
else looks crappy compared to him.
and what they've got to do is they got to find a way. A lot of teams have like two backs who are like 1A, 1B, where they don't have a Nick Chubb.
Right.
And so you got to ride the hot hand. And so they got to figure out early in the game who's kind of feeling it, and then ride that dude throughout that game. And it may be, we've seen the Patriots do it over time. 1 week it's this guy, next week it's this. He's a fantasy football nightmare.
Right.
Well, we need to find that in Cleveland. Find the back that in this particular game is feeling it and ride that dude.
You look at the 49ers. Sorry, Tyvis, real quick. But, like, the 49ers, obviously Christian McCaffrey's special. Nobody's saying anybody can be Christian McCaffrey. But in their history, since Shanahan's been there, it seems like whoever they put in a running back is good. They Jordan Mason. How many people even heard of this guy? Goes in there, runs for 150 yards last night.
Guy looked like the best running back in football.
Well,
I mean,
He's
who's this guy?
fantastic.
I'm like, who's this guy?
He's just not. He's breaking tackles. I mean, he was unbelievable.
He looked better than Debo.
Yeah, he was fantastic. Go
Well,
ahead.
I was thinking about this upcoming week.
Yeah.
They won't have Tyson Campbell, who is their best corner. So this would be the week that they probably will put more passing as an emphasis because they're down a corner. But I agree with y'all. I think the run game takes the pressure off of a lot of things. You know, when it's easier to call a play on second and 6, second and 5 than it is on first or second and 10, second and 9, or stuff like that. So that run game do got to be effective, but I do think that they're gonna pass and they're gonna have a heavy passing attack this week.
Against Miami in Week 1, Jacksonville ran the ball 26 times for 128 yards. Miami, going against Jacksonville, 25 carries, 81 yards, a 3.2 yard per carry.
So they didn't run it particularly well.
Ooh.
Miami did not run it well against Jacksonville. Now, it's one game. Who knows? Miami does have a talented backfield. They didn't use Mostert much.
Not at all.
Yeah,
But they got a really good front. Like they defense.
Jacksonville?
Yeah, they D-line is nice.
Jacksonville's front,
You got
especially
Walker.
with Eric Armstead.
Yeah,
that they
Eric
brought in.
Armstead, Walker.
I mean, this game's a toss-up.
Total
Jacksonville's
toss-up.
probably favored, right? They've got to be 3-point favorite at home, no?
Couple
hold
points.
on.
Probably more now than it was like last
Right, that's
week. The
true.
look-ahead lines were not as. Yeah, I mean, this line's probably at least 3.5.
In my mind,
It's -4 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
in my mind, they are underdog in every game. After what I saw, I'm not.
I don't blame you.
I can't believe how people just thought that the Browns were going to just walk through this first part of the season. I talked to a lot of people when I was on radio that were like, "This is good." I mean, Browns should be 4-5-1 after the first 5 games. I'm like,
I
hold
picked
up.
them to lose to Dallas, but
I thought that Dallas game was either going to be a close game with the Browns won,
Yeah.
or they were going to get blown out. And
they got blown
And
out.
they got blown out.
I mean, Giants, Raiders, Commanders is not particularly good, but 2 of the 3 are on the road. So.
But it's the D-line in every last one of them games.
All those games have a really good D-line.
Josh Allen, 17.5 sacks. Kayvon Thibodeau, above 10 sacks. Max
Burns.
Crosby.
They got Brian Burns.
Guys, the Browns have a good D-line. Those teams don't have quarterbacks. Trevor Lawrence is okay. Daniel Jones is a piece of garbage. Who else we got there? The Commanders, he's a rookie.
Gardner Minshew.
And you got Gardner Minshew. So,
Just to be fair, all those quarterbacks right now, you put them next to Deshaun Watson.
well,
Yeah.
I mean,
then why
Daniel
would the rest of you
Jones,
not
Deshaun
want
Watson.
cutting him?
Bull. It's week to week. I just saw the
Yes.
Bengals get beat up by the Patriots, and the people said the Patriots won't get no wins. They came in with Jacoby Brissett.
Oh, I ripped the Bengals yesterday.
But I'm saying though, it's week to week. You can't chalk these games up. Like I didn't.
Nobody's chalking them up. I'm just saying we shouldn't have to be. If Deshaun Watson is a good quarterback, they should kick the tar out of the Giants and the Commanders and the Raiders.
Joe Burrow is a good quarterback, and they just lost at home to the Patriots.
I know that was an embarrassing loss. It's disgraceful.
I'm saying you can get touched out here any given week. Like
Agreed.
Agreed.
Nothing's easy in the NFL. I get it.
The Cleveland Browns offense, the way it looked, they better go back to ground zero, bro. Like, I'm not, like, sometimes you want to be who you are. Like, people look in the mirror and be like, yeah, I want to be 215, Dustin. I ain't never going to be 215 unless something dramatic happens and I'm in the hospital and I lose a lot of weight or I get the gastric. Either or, but I'm not getting under the suit. But look, you got to just hope for 265 and love it. The Browns want to be, we going to line up at 5 wide. If it was me, I would not put nobody in 5 wide ever again. They can't protect it. They don't have the receivers to get downfield, and the quarterback looks
It's like the Zeke center play. Like you got no chance.
That's no chance. When I see 5 wide, I'm like, no. This is not good. Give me a tight end. Give me some 2nd and 4s, man. Can I get a couple 2nd and 4s, Tyson? Tyson Beckford.
Listen,
You're not getting that off,
When did he become Tyson?
I think
I could see
that
it.
Yeah, a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I think that for some
Confident
odd
for him.
reason, when you think about the Cleveland Browns, until from back in the day till now, it's always just been a run-first team. And I think we've gotten, although the NFL has changed to more of a passing league, only time we're successful is when we're running the ball successfully. So I think that you just got to, you paid the quarterback all this money, but at the end of the day, your people were built to run the ball. So you got to run the ball, and that's just what it is.
If the quarterback was playing at a high level, it wouldn't be as big a deal. Now, part of it, listen, I hear what you're all saying about the run. They do have to run it better. They do have to run it more often. Part of it is a legitimate excuse that they were constantly behind the sticks, and then eventually they were down big, where you're not going to have a 50-50 split in the way the game went. Obviously, they got, the Cowboys weren't running it that effectively, but they stuck with it. And they got enough done in that situation, and then eventually they had a big lead, and they were able to run the ball because they don't have a good backfield. But, the Browns do have to do a better job right now with no Njoku,
they're not
running the ball.
They're not good enough at quarterback right now for them to, number one, not be good on special teams.
Right.
Not be dominant defensively.
Yeah, they weren't. Far from it.
They turned the ball over.
Yeah.
They gave up points off turnovers.
Every time.
And not to mention that, they were like 3 of 16, I think, on third down. You can't win. You just absolutely can't win with that
That's a recipe for a loss every time.
And when you look at it, total yards about this even, about even with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Total first downs about even with the Cowboys.
They had 15 apiece.
You looked at the stat sheet, you're like, oh, okay, very similar. And then you're like, turnovers, bam, and kickoff return, touchdown, bam, big punt return, bam. Like you can't win.
And some of the numbers got closer because of garbage time, but
of course. But the point is, with those so important categories that you lose, you have no chance. And when your quarterback's not playing well, you definitely have no chance.
And penalties.
Wait a minute. Are you insinuating that special teams is important?
We all know it's the X factor.
Where Jason at?
Go ahead, Mike.
Last point on not having Njoku, especially with the issues at tackle, he was a really good run blocker on the outside. So running the ball just became even more difficult without 85 in the lineup.